Okay, so this is our last speaker before the halftime break. And we have Steindler talking about expensive camping gear. Do it yourself.
Alright, it's summer. We're in Michigan. What does that mean?
Camping!
Exactly. I love camping. It's probably my favorite part about being in Ann Arbor in the summer. I remember when I was growing up, basically every summer my family would plan all the different places that we were going to go, all this sort of thing. And I know that it's not just us Michiganders who think that camping is great, but why wouldn't we? We've got the forest, we've got the Great Lakes, we've got the awesome dunes. My mom was from New Jersey originally, and when she was moving out to Michigan, the first thing that her parents asked her was, do they have indoor plumbing in Michigan? So even though we have indoor plumbing, Michigan is still a very outdoorsy state, and we all love to camp. The problem with camping equipment is that if you go to a place like REI, it's kind of expensive. They're going to try to sell you on these large mattress pads. They're going to give you these huge bowls that fold each in many different ways. Well, it turns out you don't need any of that junk actually to camp. There's just a few essentials that you need, and some of them you can even make yourself. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you guys tonight about camping. As a Boy Scout, I was a terrible fire starter. I really could use one of these squirrels. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to make your own. And the basic idea here is that you want something that burns from like 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can build your fire on top of it instead of like trying to find all the right kindling and all that huge mess. It's really simple. You take dry rinse, you roll it up in a newspaper, you tie a cage twine on it for a wick, and then you cut the newspaper roll into like these little chunk pieces and dip it in the melted paraffin. Be very careful when melting paraffin. We found out that after the paraffin becomes a liquid, if you keep it on your stove, it'll ignite, and then you will have a saucepan full of flaming paraffin, and your roommates will hate you. Don't do that. Okay, the next thing we're talking about is a stuff bag. So these are very useful when you're camping to keep like groups of items together. I have one for my cook set, I have another utilities in it, stuff like that. So the problem is, if you go to REI, they cost like $7 to $14, but it turns out you can just grab some material and make it yourself. There's 2 great places in Ann Arbor to get this stuff. One is Kiwanis, and if you go there to get the scrap, make sure you go to the basement and check out their awesome selection of sewing machines. There's also the scrap box down on State Street that sells Bridgestone Island, which is what the professional made ones are made out of. If you do choose to use one of these tie-back mailers, be very careful. From the bottom it reads, packaging is prompted to U.S. Postal Service, solely for use in sending shipments. This use may be a violation of federal law, blah, blah, blah. Make sure that you get one of these used and that you're not stealing it from the post office. I don't want the post office coming to rescue me. They're really easy to make. If you go to instructables.com and search for tie-back sack, it has the step-by-step instructions. Basically, you just pull the bottom, tuck the corners in, sew it up. It's really easy to do. This is without a doubt the greatest camping invention that ever came out of the internet. It's called a pop can stove. It's like a 20-cent way to make a 1-ounce backpacking stove. And there's nothing like this that you can buy at REI. And if you could, it would cost like $70 to $100. It burns any form of alcohol, and I mean any form of alcohol. I've used paint thinner, well, not moonshine, we're using 151. Antifreeze. It'll even burn rubbing alcohol, although it doesn't burn clean, the rest of them do. When we were in South America, we asked for this thing called alcohol industrial. We're still not sure what it is, but we still burned it. If it's called alcohol, it'll burn. These are actually really popular, and on the internet, there's all sorts of different forums and stuff dedicated to constructing them. This was taken from the Wikipedia article on pop can stove. I kid you not. And so the theory of operation is really easy. Basically, you pour alcohol into this center cavity, and then you light it with a match or a lighter or whatever. And then as the vapor forms, it gets pushed out into little jets all around the side. And the center flame ignites it, and then you have stove. You can cook your stuff outside in a very easy way. It works at 14,000 feet. It works at sea level. Basically, the only disadvantage is that the fuel is a little heavier than commercial that you use. Constructing one of these is really easy. For mine, I actually use 2 pop cans. You cut off the 2 bottoms, and you make a sort of an inner wall. And then you put the inner wall on the bottom, and then you put the top together. It's actually easier said than done. It turns out it's really hard to smash 2 things of the same size together. You just have to be patient and you work it together. There's a great website out there, zenstoves.net. It lists a whole bunch of different configuration of pop can stoves, stand can stoves, like anything you can imagine. And it goes over all the different types of tools you can use. So I really recommend visiting that site. Okay, so I hope that I inspired you guys to make your own camping equipment. And even if you don't, if it's on Michigan, make sure you go camping. Thank you.